All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, this and that for life. I'm always for life, nigga. This a blow. Hey, yo, Madara. Here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, send a curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Niggas give it, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business, this loyalty's a death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind field. Hey, they said there'll be many mansions, I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair, they hunt you like bad pal. But ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times and his death do his part. No. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the like you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name. So you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing. Ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck 'em, raise it, raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In pump smoke, never try to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, it's all I don't. The photo salute, my nigga, salute. They like, how you brotherhood? Niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs. They under anesthesia. Shorty say she leave me, said she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood. So how you feel about this truth I done show? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those are messed up, no. Bad news is to beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
They said you get on, you gon' represent, I said of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch be a whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan, I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course, get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that, I swear I'm too hardcore. Wait up, let me make a call right quick, I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer boy. Took a Zach, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shane Shaw. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Harper Free. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. You should put on that top 3. Then bring me my house show. Show them UPK rules. I make this like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that business like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole part. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the fart. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fart. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the outcome. Beat them niggas bad, got them tied down and out there. Came to with the steppers, niggas been down since day one. We that beat, I read that. Yo, God, you ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, boy. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low. Told that bitches either or. I told you niggas you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our car. And I just made it call. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
All right, let's clap it up. Hey, Shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. It's the Monday night scripture breakdown class. I mean, you got any questions online or in the room, you go and raise your hand and ask a question. You can go ahead and ask a question if you got any questions online or in the room. Any questions in the room before we address anything online? Hey, Shalom, Pablo Gomez. What's going down with you? Good to see you, brother. All right, if it ain't no questions in the room right now, I wanted to, okay, I see a question. All right, you know what, brother? I'm gonna go ahead and address your question. I'm gonna go ahead and address your question that you just put in, and then I wanted to answer a question that you had asked a couple classes ago. All right. So he said, how can you distinguish heathens from men of God? All right. Let me get Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 real quick. Okay, so the first thing that you the first way to distinguish a heathen from men of God, the Lord's chosen people, Blacks, Hispanic, who are the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans of today, is to, you know what I mean, go through check the pedigree. You know what I mean? Check who your father is. So that's how the Most High identifies you. You know what I mean? For example, like the fake Jewish man, right? Or like not fake, the small hat community, they try to put on our culture. They determine whether you're a so-called Jewish man by your mother, I believe. Right. But that's completely backwards. Just think of it like like planting a seed. You know what I mean? You take an apple seed, right, and you plant it in. You plant an apple seed in soil in the United States. What's gonna grow? An apple tree. You know what I mean? Whatever that seed was planted, that's what's gonna grow. You know what I mean? You take that same apple seed and you plant it in Japan, that's not a Japanese apple tree. It's an apple tree. It's gonna be that same apple tree that would have grown in the US. And you know what I mean, no matter where you put that seed. So the first thing you want to look at is the seed of the father. You know what I mean? Read that when you got it, Baba Kasha.
Go. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigree.
What's your pedigree? Let's look up the word pedigree real quick. Go ahead.
Look it up a couple of days ago, where pedigree means purebred.
A little bit more specific. Let me see. As far as go ahead, please.
Is it like your family line, your bloodline?
Absolutely. Give my hand. Let me get it on the screen real quick for the people watching online. Salaki, as I share my screen. All right, so lock here. All right, so if you could see that on the screen, let me enlarge it. If you could see that on the screen, a pedigree, according to Google, it says the record, or it's like the record of descent of an animal shown it to be purebred. The next definition is the recorded ancestry, especially upper class ancestry of a person or family. So this is read that again, Bob Kasha.
And they assembled all the congregation together.
So they assembled. This is talking to the children of Israel that came out of the Exodus of what's it called, Egypt. Yeah, I'm to the water. But it's talking to the children of Israel that came out of the Exodus of Egypt. You know what I mean? It was only the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who were in captivity and who were freed from their captivity in Egypt at this time. So when it says, read that from the top again.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together.
So that congregation that we're talking about is the children of Israel. Go ahead, read on.
On the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees.
They declared their what?
Their pedigrees.
So when it says they declared their pedigrees, they're saying that they've declared their ancestry. It's according to Google, it says their especially upper class ancestry of a person or family. So when it says they declared their pedigree, they declared their ancestry. You know what I mean? You got brothers and sisters, because we've been in captivity for so long, but we haven't had an identity according to, you know what I mean, let your oppressor tell it. You don't, you know what I mean? You just a byword, you just a nigga, you just a spick or whatever they call our brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? That's your identity. But we don't, as far as we know, we don't have a culture. You know what I mean? And they use that as an occasion to mock us. You know what I mean? But this is how you determine. So because of that, because we feel like we don't have any culture, we lean on things like 23andMe, Ancestry.com. I know that was real popular back in like 2014 and a little bit before that, where brothers and sisters was spitting in the tube or drawing blood and sending it up to a lab, and then you wait a couple weeks and then they send your test results back, and then boom, you 83% Ghanaian and 12% Nigerian, and then now you think you African. So now you go into the thrift store getting your dashiki and a kufi and a kente cloth and all of that, trying to act like you African. You know what I mean? But what you got to realize is that 23andMe, that Ancestry.com, that's not how you determine your pedigree or your lineage or your ancestry. That's not going to give you any results. You know what I mean? Think about how ridiculous that would be for your oppressor to take 400 years plus to beat your culture and identity out of you and then sell it back to you for what's 23andMe cost? A couple $100,
Right?
Maybe. You know what I mean? If it was that easy, and if it was that, you know what I mean, if it was that easy for Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans to get their culture and identity back, you know what I mean, brothers would be, you know what I mean, we'd be shelling that money out left and right. But the reality about 23andMe and those ancestry tests that you take online is that they're not true, and they're meant to beguile you and confuse you further. You know what I mean? That's just the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? You could look these things up where they sent in they did control experiments where you'll send your blood and your DNA to the lab, and the results will come back and it says that you from Africa. You know what I mean? Where they sent, I believe it was a set of triplets where they sent their DNA to that same lab, and it came back with three vastly varying results. You know what I mean? Meaning these results, even though these are triplets who had the same mother, same father, you know what I mean, had the same pedigree, had the same ancestry and lineage, the test results came back, you know what I mean, it came back 3 different test results. There's another occasion where they sent the DNA of a lizard, and I believe the DNA of a dog. And, you know what I mean, it came back that this dog and this lizard was from Ghana. You know what I mean? It just goes to show that these things, this 23andMe and these ancestry, they it's meant to beguile you, man. And if you had, you know what I mean, you got to understand the type of oppressor that you know what I mean, that you're subjected under. Like your oppressor is not going to sell you back your identity for $1.99. You know what I mean? Because if you knew who you were, like I think we went over last week. You know what I mean? If you knew who you were, if you were following your culture, then they can't touch you. But it's only if you break your laws. It's only if you forget who you are. That's why in Psalms 83, they took crafty counsel against your people to make sure the name of Israel was no more remembered. Please go ahead. Please.
The book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. For whosoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures may have hope. Like you're saying, priest, this is the only way we can trace our lineage. You can't believe in that 23andMe and all that
Right.
Because you basically depending on the people that put your ancestors or put you in slavery.
God.
You know what I'm saying? To give you your lineage.
Right.
Through the Bible and the scriptures, that's how we can trace who we were without the damn oppressors.
Right. Okay, give him a hand. And what the brother said was absolutely heavy. That's why, you know what I mean, earlier I said, you know what I mean, you got to understand the type of oppressor that you subjected under. Because how many times have they promised you, you know what I mean, a treaty, a deal, you know what I mean, to strike a contract with you and then broke it with the Native Americans over, you know what I mean, 700 trees? How many times have they told you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, stop being so lazy, and then when we build up our towns, they burn them down? How many times have they promised you reparations, 40 acres and a mule, and now they look at you like you lazy for asking for what they promised you? Right. You know what I mean? Your oppressor is a liar. Right. You know what I mean? So in those 23andMe's and all of that, they're for sure going to continue to lie to you because their kingdom, we're going to get into it later, but their kingdom depends on your downfall. Their kingdom still standing depends on you being at the bottom. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 16:6, Baba Kashai. And then go ahead and finish that numbers real quick. So this is just to answer your question, flat and succinct. This is how you trace back your lineage. And let me make sure I'm reading it. This is how you distinguish a heathen from the men of God. You look at the father. You know what I mean? You look at the father, who their father is, where their father comes from, and that's how you find out who's a heathen, who's of the Lord's people, and who's not. Right. And we're gonna get into it deeper because we a lot of times we so indoctrinated with Christianity and you know what I mean, from slavery, and we think we just mixed. Everybody's mixed. Everybody got a little white in them and a little black and a little Native American, and that's colorism and all of that. You know what I mean? That's all another ruse to try to, you know what I mean, keep blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans confused. You know what I mean? But it's real simple in the Bible. It's very simple. Go ahead, read what you got.
Come. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together.
So that congregation again is the nation of Israel. We assembled because remember the nation of Israel is made up of 12 tribes. So we assembled. Go ahead.
On the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees.
They declared their pedigree. They declared their ancestry and their family lineage. Go ahead.
After their families.
Right? Go ahead. This is how you find out who your family is and who's not your family. Go ahead.
By the house of their fathers.
By the house of their who?
Fathers.
By the house of your fathers. So if your father is a so-called black man, a so-called you know what I mean, a so-called Negro or whatever you want, African American or whatever they call them nowadays, you are a black man, and according to the Bible, according to the curses, according to the inheritance, I believe, what is it? Genesis 40, 48, 49. Yeah. According to the inheritance, you know what I mean? You would be from the tribe of Judah. You know what I mean? According to the history of, if you read this Bible, you see the history of these nations and their inheritance, where they were, where their land was, where they were displaced. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. If your father was a so-called Native American, you are from the tribe of Gad. If you are, you your father was a Seminole Indian. You know what I mean? You were from the tribe of Reuben. If your father was a so-called Puerto Rican, you were from the tribe of Salakia. Ephraim, Salakia. I don't know why that one escaped me. And so on and so forth. You know what I mean? That's how you determine by the house of your father. You know what I mean? That's how we know that that's how we can't be fooled. You know what I mean? And this the election is coming up in just a couple days. And brothers and sisters are about to flood the voting booths, just like we did with Obama. You know what I mean? Just like we were fooled with Obama. We about to flood the voting booths and vote in for Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? At least that's what they want you to do. Because we think that she's a black woman. Right. She's not a black woman. And you know that by the pedigree, by the house of her father. Her father was a slave master in Jamaica. I believe, Irish? Right. Of Irish descent. You know what I mean? She was her father was an Irish slave master, which makes her a white woman based on the pedigree of her father. Please, go ahead. Give him the mic. I was just about to get to Bob Marley. That's how we know that Bob Marley is just what we call a chocolate covered devil. Right. You know what I mean? Where he's a white man, but he has the complexion, a similar complexion of what you would call a black man. Right. You know what I mean? Only slaves fight over colorism. Right. That's why that's because we were in captivity for so long, because we got a slave mentality. We look at a little bit of tint and we like, oh, you black, you invited to the cookout. You know what I mean? That's how Obama was able to run the country for 8 years and not do a damn thing for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right. You know what I mean? If anything, he did more to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He gassed us up on hope and change and all of that. And then when he got out of office and they questioned him, he was like, what do you say to, the interviewer was like, what do you say to black people who say that you didn't do enough when in your 8 years of office? And he was like, well, I think there was just a lot of they had a lot of hope, and they were gassed up on hope. Like, why you think that is? Because that was his whole campaign. Yes, we can. Yeah, right. Yes, we can. Hope, change, the change we need. You know what I mean? So if anybody was gassed up, he's the reason why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are gassed up. But I say all that to say, you know what I mean? We thought he was a brother. We thought he was another black man. Come to find out, he is an African from, I believe he's Nigerian? I can't remember. He's Kenyan. That's what it was. Yeah, Kenyan. He's from his forefathers, the house of his fathers, like we just read in Numbers, the 18th chapter, is from Kenya. Oppressors, the ones who sold us to white people, the chief oppressor of the world. So that's why it's so important to not look at color, not look at complexion, you know what I mean? But look at the lineage, look at who their father is, so that you don't get fooled by the Kamala Harrises and the Obamas and the Bob Marleys and things like that. All right, I hope that answered your question, brother. You got that Jeremiah chapter 16 and 6? It's either 16 or 6 or 6 and 16.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 6. Mm-hmm.
Huh? 6 and 6.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 16. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old path.
So read that from the top again, Baba Shah.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 16. Thus said the Lord.
Thus said the Lord. This is what the Most High said. This is how the Most High got to remind us, because we've been in so many captivities. We didn't stray so far away from our culture and how we do things. Instead of looking at the pedigree of our fathers, you know what I mean, in determining your ethnicity, your race, your identity, your family, we looking at 23andMe. What you got? Are you gonna read it? What you got? Go ahead.
All right, guys, had a precept.
Oh, please. Let me finish this and then I'll get you a precept, please. But there's so many. You said this is what the Most High said. Go ahead, read on, Baba Kashah.
Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see.
Stand ye in the ways and see. So there's so many different ways. There's so many different paths that you could go down. You can, you know what I mean? You can go and be Buddhist. You can go and be Hindu. You can go and be Kemet, Egyptologist. You can go and be a Muslim. So many different ways that for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to indulge in. But we're to stand in the ways and see, right? See all these different paths. See all these things that that's set before us to follow after. Go ahead.
And ask for the old path.
And ask for the old paths. Go ahead.
Where is the good way?
Where is the good way? The old way of doing things, going through these pedigrees and identifying ourselves by the nationality of our fathers. That's the old path, which is the good way.
Right.
That's how you keep from getting confused by your oppressor so that they can keep you on the bottom and keep themselves on the top. Go ahead. Is it any more than that?
And walk therein.
And walk therein. Follow these good paths. Follow these old paths, which is the good way. So that you can, go ahead. Is it more than that?
And ye shall find rest for your souls.
Yeah, you shall find rest for your souls, man. This is why we ain't got no rest for our souls, because we following after all these new paths. We trying to integrate. We trying to interracially marry. We trying to vote our way into out of oppression. We're trying to, infiltrate the political systems and the military and the police force, and we're trying to join ourselves to our oppressor. But all of these things, trying to be like our oppressor, is making us weary, right, making us exhausted. But the rest for our souls is doing things the Most High intended for us to do from the beginning. Right. Is it any more on that? That's it? Okay, no sweat.
But they said we will not walk therein.
But guess what we said? We said, nah, I need that 23andMe. Yeah. How you know you an Israelite? Did you take a blood test? Right. Did you do ancestry? And we say, oh, well, I know I'm an Israelite based on these curses. I know because don't nobody fit these curses but a Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. I know I'm an Israelite because of these prophecies that's coming to pass. I know I'm an Israelite because of the history and the records in this Bible. They like, nah. But how you know though? Nah, did you get a blood test? What about your father's father? You know what I mean? There was a problem when we went back in the Kamala Harris's lineage and went to her great grandfather and found out that he was an Irish slave master. But when it comes to us and we claim that we Israelites based on the records in this Bible and the history that lines up with our history, then now they got to go. Oh, what's your fault? What about 4,000 years ago when we was or 400 years ago when we was when our oppressor was sleeping with us? We all mixed together and this, that, and the third. Right. We don't mind complicating things when it comes to our lineage so that we can pretend that we don't have a lineage. So we don't have to have a way to follow. Right. We don't have to have structure. You know what I mean? So we can go to all these different ways. We reject structure, but this structure is the good way. And this structure, these old paths, is going to give us rest for our soul. So like you got, please, what you got?
So you precept, and said what you're saying, man, because we don't ask. Slacky. First of all, Kamala Harris is not our people because she can trace her ancestry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can't. We can't at all. And I'm saying most of us can't. You know what I'm saying? And what's so heavy about it, we don't go to, an Irish man to ask for them to do a blood test,
right,
or an Italian man to ask for their blood test,
right,
because they know where they from.
Right.
But we said we know where we from, and it's the Bible of the holy people, of the different people, than everybody else. Then we gotta ask for a blood test. Then we gotta prove that we are the children of Israel. By simply the fact that while you asking that, you prove that you're an Israelite. You know
right. Damn, that's a heavy point. Go ahead.
So this is a piggyback what you were saying earlier about how just to go into our old paths and whatnot, and maybe think of this precept. I feel about myself.
Please.
This is the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. For I inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. So that's it.
Yeah, most time Christ, give him my hand. Give my hand. And it's so heavy you just brought that out because the topic we're gonna get into tonight is gonna be Jacob and Esau, and who the blessing went to. And what we fail to realize is a lot of times what Black people do as well is we try to muddy the lineage of the Bible. You know what I mean? Where oh, we all came from Adam and Eve. We all brothers. We all siblings. All nations come from the same people, which is, you know what I mean, which is partially true. If you, you know what I mean, but it's deeper. You know what I mean? Where, yeah, we all come from Adam, but the Most High makes a choice. And the people who, you know what I mean, the Most High made a separation based on his choice. You know what I mean? So he chose to separate nations. And we're going to find out here in a second as we get into the topic. But it's not based on, you know what I mean, we over here going to draw blood, doing 23andMe, spitting in a vial and sending it up. You know what I mean? The Most High never chose us based on your blood. He ain't draw no blood. You know what I mean? He ain't spitting no vial. He chose you based on your father. Right. And then he chose a son out of those sons. Right. And then a son. And then he chose until we got to the 12 tribes of Israel. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? But so you should always, who your father is extremely important. It's the most important thing that you know what I mean, that you gonna need to know. Because we don't know who our fathers are, we don't know who we are. Right. So let me get this off. But I hope I answered your question, brother. If you got any more, feel free to put them in the chat as well. Real quick, let me get let's get Genesis, the 25th chapter. Was there any questions in the room or anything before we get into the topic? No sweat. Let me get there with you. 25 and 20. Start at 19 real quick. And whenever you got it, you go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac.
These are the generations of Isaac. Now, if you when you read the Bible, right, all the way from Genesis, the first chapter, Genesis, whenever it talks about the lineage of Adam and Eve, I believe after Cain took the life of Abel, and you know what I mean, Seth was born. It talks about the lineage of Seth, and then they begat sons and daughters, and this, that, and the third. Then it talks about another son, like, and this son, Seth begot this son, and then this son begat this son, and this, that, and the third. There's lineages all through the Bible, and a lot of times, especially when you just reading it for the first time, especially when you got a Christian mindset about it, you kind of like skim through it and you really don't see the significance about it. But the reason why those lineages are there is because of what we read in Numbers, the 18th chapter. Who your father is very important. Who your father is, please, go ahead.
If I could. Now, what you just said was heavy, priest, and it's heavy that you're going back here. And not to go back to the brother's question, but if you go to Luke 3 and 38 and read backwards, right? So Luke 3 and 38 says, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of God. So the sons of God are all lineages that come from, you know what I'm saying, I chose people's life.
Damn right. It's very important. It's very important who your father is, because if you know who your father is, you know who the sons of God is. Right. Who the sons of God are, who the Most High chose. Right. You know what I mean? Not everybody. We're gonna get it later. I'm trying not to skip ahead, but we're gonna get it in a second. But not everybody who comes from, you know what I mean? Not everybody who comes from the seed of you know what I mean, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are of the seed of, well, not Jacob. I mean, sons of God is right. The chosen people. You know what I mean? We're gonna see how it's divided up. Starting here. Go ahead, read on.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac.
So Abraham begat Isaac, right? Guess what? Who do you not see? Who else did Abraham beget? Go ahead. Ishmael. But he's not named here. He's not mentioned here. Why is that? Because the Most High chose Isaac.
Right.
He was chosen. His lineage is important. I mean, Ishmael, I mean, it goes through his lineage, I believe, in earlier chapters, but it just shows you who Salaki. You know what I mean, who their forefathers were. Let me see it before you we back. Salaki. But what was I saying? Salaki, what was the last thing I said?
So you talk about Ishmael?
Oh yeah, it goes into his lineage, but it only goes into his lineage to tell you who their people are. He became the progenitor of what you would call the what's it called, the Arabs today.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it just goes through their lineage to show you who they are. But like when it talks about inheritance, it only mentions the prominent figures in the lineage, because of, again, it's about bloodline, but it's also about who the Most High chose in that bloodline, and the Most High just so happened to choose us. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah the wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Adanaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. Verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren.
So at this point, you know what I mean, Isaac and Rachel, or it's like Isaac and Rebekah are trying to have a child, but Rebekah is barren. All right, go ahead, read on.
And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
So now because they entreated the Lord, the Most High heard them, and boom, Rebekah pregnant with you know what I mean, she conceived. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 22. And the children struggled together within her.
So because this is supposed to be such a happy, you know what I mean, this is supposed to be a happy moment. You know what I mean? She was barren and now she's able to conceive. So this is supposed to be an amazing thing. But the children struggled together within her. Go ahead.
And said, if it be so, why am I thus?
So if you know what I mean, Isaac, you know what I mean, asked the Lord to, you know what I mean, to give him you know what I mean, allow him to have children, and the Most High made it happen. But they were struggling. It was like, okay, well, this is, you know what I mean, if the Lord made it so, then why is this happening? And go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
So she went to inquire of the Lord. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
So 2 nations are in thy womb. Now, one family, one big family.
2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations are in thy womb. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people.
2 manner of people. So, so how can this be? How can this be so? How can one woman, or it's like, how can one woman and one man have a set of twins, and it be 2 nations of people? Again, choice. The Most High chooses one over the other. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Now shall be integrated.
Shall be separated.
Now shall be interracially married.
Shall be separated.
So from the beginning, to answer the brother, so the brother's question was, and I believe it's specific, and if you still online, Pablo, you can correct me or make it a little bit more succinct. But from what I can recall, I believe the question was, why did Jacob steal or trick Esau out of his blessing? You know what I mean? Because in our culture, the firstborn would receive the inheritance. The firstborn would, you know what I mean, will receive the inheritance, and you know what I mean, that's just how it went. But in this case, well, go ahead and read on. It's gonna answer that question pretty flat.
Verse 23. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
So the one people shall be stronger than the other people. Go ahead. So these nations, these two manner of people that come out of the same woman are going to be separated from the womb. And one people shall be stronger than the other. Go ahead.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Esau, we're gonna get it in a second, but it said the elder shall serve the younger. Now this was read that from the top again real quick, just that top line, verse 23.
Come. And the Lord said unto her.
And who said unto her?
And the Lord said unto her.
Nah, your Christian pastor said unto her.
The Lord said unto her.
Nah, some you know what I mean, we just up here making up stuff, and we just love being black so much that we just want to put, you know what I mean, black people on top by any means. Read that again.
And the Lord said unto her.
The Lord said unto her that these nations will be separated. She's carrying too many people that will be separated from the womb. That's what the Lord said. Right. So we are already getting off. First of all, you got to understand that the Lord did this. Jacob didn't steal anything. He didn't trick her. He didn't do anything. This was already written. This was already established that the Lord would have the elder serve the younger. Go ahead, read verse 24.
Come. Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
So just like the prophecy she received, she had twins, right? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 25. And the first came out red. So this is talking about the elder. Remember, it said the elder shall serve the younger. I mean, the elder son will serve the younger. The firstborn, this is describing the firstborn or the elder. He said the firstborn came out red. Go ahead. Come. The first, verse 25. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
So according to the description, and this goes back to the first question, how do you know who a heathen is? Well, this is describing Esau, which is another heathen, which is the chief oppressor, the devil the Bible speaks of, the so-called Caucasian, the white man today. Right. You know what I mean? This is a red and hairy man. Who is a red and hairy man on this earth today? You know what I mean? I saw a devil. Good night. Like I was out, you know what I mean, slaving, and I saw a devil, you know what I mean, get up out of his pickup truck, and he was red and hairy. I was like, damn. See, when we think of like red and hairy, we think of like some, like, you know what I mean, the devil underground with a pitchfork and all of that, right. And like hairy, like a, you know what I mean, like some goat or something like that. Like we think of something just imaginative, like, but like not even realizing that when you see your oppressor, you know what I mean, he's red. He's not white, like he's not the color of this paper. Right. If you look at his skin, he's pink. He's red because his blood shows through his skin, and he's hairy. You know what I mean? He got hair all over his arms and all over his, you know what I mean, all over his face and neck and chest. And go, please.
It's a lot of you, just like you said, Esau is progenitor, like you said, of the white race. And Esau was mean like red. The name of it, I forgot the name of it. Wasted away as he. Right, wasted away as he. Like they blood show through their skin. That's a deformity. Like it doesn't supposed to be there. But like it's like I got another one too.
No, please. And that, if I before you go, it's heavy that you just said that because like what you said was that's abnormal. That's an abnormality. Right. You could tell because of the description. Right, you know what I mean? You ain't got to describe what's normal, what's, you know what I mean, common. Like we, you know what I mean, we black, you know what I mean? It's not uncommon for us to see other black people, but you see, you know what I mean, out of a black woman, this red and hairy baby come out, you like, what the hell is that? Right. That ain't right. You like, oh, he red and hairy. There's something different about this one. Right. Go ahead, what you had?
And the other thing, and when it says that one will be stronger than the other, you know what I'm saying? Well, the thing about the Bible, or the thing about God, he's big on character. You know what I'm saying? And this right here is saying it's saying that you look at black people and Hispanic people and American people, we're the strongest people on earth. Just for the simple fact we went through slavery. Right. And now we still here, still populating, still thriving. You know what I'm saying? We still in hell, I'm gonna say that too. But this is the characteristic of Jacob. You know what I'm saying? This describes Jacob and his family coming to tribe of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So you like That's why I had to say it's like,
No, please. That's a heavy point. What you just said, man. We gonna get it too, cause the one people be stronger than the other. And the elder shall serve the younger. You can see, like, if you look at we gonna get it. It's right here in a second. But Esau is very dramatic.
right.
Work week like it's nothing. Do you go home tie fire? You know what I mean? You got 12 kids running all around, and you know what I mean? That's just your life. You know what I mean? You see Issachar, you know what I mean? They thug it out. You know what I mean? They the hardest working. They go home. You know what I mean? You hear them outside. It's a constant party. Like they just living it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You put your oppressor in that same situation. You got 12 kids. You know what I mean? All over the place. You got 3-4 different women. You know what I mean? You got him working 80 hours. Oh, he gonna flip something. No, he gonna move some furniture.
Right.
He gonna flip something over. He gonna riot. He's going to he gonna go on strike. It's gonna be something going there. He gonna complain his behind off. You know what I mean? Because he's just not built like that. Right. He just not built like that. But you know what I mean? We just, like the priest said, like we just stronger than them through the, you know what I mean, through the grace of the Most High. Go ahead. What you got? Please.
It's like you said, so heavy because once something's not right for them, they start to revolt.
Right.
Just like on January the 1st, right? When was that January the 1st against they went to the White House? January 6th, they went into the White House because white people was, they was mad. But Black Hispanic Americans, we've been mad for so many years, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We've been misjudged. I mean, we just been in slavery here so many years, man, and that's the test of strength of us, man. You know what I'm saying? And we still here thriving. And the thing about, I'm saying, it's like,
no, you got it, please.
The thing about being an Israelite is something special, man, and you should want to hold on to that. You know what I'm saying? Us as Black people, Hispanic people, and American people, we so indulged and want to be here in America, be American. It's a breath. You're the best people on this planet Earth already, just by what you've been through. Why not bring the Israelite culture to what you already know?
Right.
Because that's your culture.
Right. Right. Now give him a hand. And I think one of y'all said it before, but like the fact that we even reject this culture so heavily, that shows that we are those people.
Right.
You know what I mean? The fact that we like he said, like we the strongest, we the most sought after, you know what I mean, people on the planet Earth. But you know what I mean, all we got to do is just come back to our culture and put our culture back on. Be, you know what I mean, be glorious like the Most High intended us to be. But you know what I mean, we don't have that same energy when they say, oh yeah, I'm a Buddhist. You should try being a Buddhist. You know what I mean? Or I'm a Rastafarian. You should try being a Rastafarian. Or a Kemet or Egyptologist or whatever. Fill in the blank with any religion. We don't have that same energy. Like, nah, I've been doing this all my life. I've been you know what I mean? I've been on the corner all my life, you know what I mean, selling dope. You know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna do. My father was a dope dealer. My great-grandfather was a dope dealer. You know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna do, because that's what I've been doing all my life. But when it comes to the culture of that the Most High God gave the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, now all of a sudden we gotta get back to like that. It's just too new for us. Like, oh, I ain't about to try that, but we'll try everything else. It's like somebody had their hand up, please.
Now, if I could just add to the priest's point, man, like about proving how we're the strongest people, man. Like, back when our assets in slavery, even now today, you know what I'm saying? Look how many hours we work. I think now they just instituted something called mental health day. You can take a mental health day, right? I think the reason why they shortened the work days to the 40-hour work weeks, because they damn ass had to get out there and start slavery. You know what I'm saying? Because if it weren't for that, hell, you know what I'm saying, we would have been doing, you know what I'm saying, 23 hours a day. And still, you know what I'm saying, getting some box, taking care of the kid, and then going back. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell us that, you know what I'm saying, you can't tell nobody that we're not the strongest people in the world, man. Right. You got our Issachar brothers and our Hispanic brothers, they still there making, you know what I'm saying, $10 a day in the labor union. And they making it work and still populating the earth with their kids, man. Like, the Bible is just so heavy with the prophecies, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
no, please, no, give them a hand. Who your father is very important, man. Like everything that these brothers just said is like so 100% true. It's so heavy, like, but we reject it. we constantly reject it when we constantly say, "Oh, I'm not no Israelite. I'm a African American. I'm an Afro American. I'm a what they call what we call it ourselves nowadays." I know back in the day it was African American, it was black, it was colored, it was Negroes. We call you know what I mean? What's Afro? We calling ourselves all these bywords, man. But you know what I mean? By calling ourselves these bywords and constantly rejecting our culture, we are diminishing who we are as a people. And the Most High chose us to be above all people on the face of the earth. Let's drop down to actually go ahead and read verse 26. I think that's where you left off.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
So after Esau came out, his brother came out. You know what I mean? And he took hold of Esau's heel. Now that's important. We're gonna get that in a second. Go ahead, read on.
And his name was called Jacob.
Go ahead.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Go ahead.
Verse 27.
So from what we read earlier, Jacob, it said the prophecy that the Most High gave to Rebekah, it said that the elder would serve the younger. Remember that. This is what the Lord said. Esau came out first, making him the elder. And then Jacob came out. Jacob is the progenitor. Now, we already got the description of Esau. He's a red, hairy man. We're about to get more of a description. But that's the progenitor of the so-called, the white man, the Caucasian. You know what I mean? And then Esau came out. So the elder would be the Caucasian man, the white man. It said the elder would serve the younger. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 27. And the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter. Who is a cunning hunter in the earth today? Who's always out in the woods with a rifle, Colt Gray, you know what I mean, out with a rifle shooting things? And since they babies, before they even teach them how to talk, they teaching them how to hold a rifle. Right. You know what I mean, how to shoot a 22. You know what I mean? They sitting out in the field wearing the you know what I mean? I don't know about y'all, but you know what I mean, I think all of us had that one Edomite child growing up in elementary school that wore the camouflage and he always smelled like piss. I couldn't have just been me. But you know what I mean? That's just, you know what I mean? They'll lay in the field all day, cover themselves in mud and deer feces and defecate and urinate on themselves sitting in that field just so they could get their target. Right. You know what I mean? That's how they, like the scriptures say, Esau is blessed with the sword. We're going to get that in a second. Go ahead and read on. Well, Esau was a cunning hunter. You know what I mean? There's no more cunning hunter than Esau in this earth. Go ahead and read on. Verse 27. A man of the field.
A man of the field, like I just described. Go ahead.
And Jacob was a plain man. Dwelling in tents.
So we a plain man. You know what I mean? Especially like black people, like Judites. We plain man. We just want to kick it at home with our rib. You know what I mean? We want to get it. If we could make our lives easier, we're gonna do it. You know what I mean? If we could, you know what I mean? If we could get paid, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? We go to our slaves, we work our 9 to 5s, you know what I mean? We work, put in our overtime and all of that. But if we could get a couple sick days, we could call in sick and be able to sit at home and get a quick little paycheck. You know what I mean? We're gonna get it how we could get it. You know what I mean? Go ahead, please. You about to say something?
Yeah, no, if I could, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna bring up, man. I've been in the oppressive military. I wish the brothers here tonight, but we go out to the field for 2 weeks. You know, you got the Judite brothers, Hispanic brothers. We in the tent, literally, and we playing cards, playing dominoes. The oppressors out there, they try to find ways to catch scorpions and spiders. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally get to see it play out. So like,
you can just see, like, you can see it's a stark difference in our spirits, man. And because they rather defecate and urinate on themselves in the woods. You know what I mean? Trying to shoot a little deer. Right. You know what I mean? They call us lazy because we dwell at home. You know what I mean? And like his I believe you read I believe we just read in Genesis the 31st chapter, you know what I mean, the 30th through 32nd chapter. You know what I mean? You see how Jacob is very skilled at breeding and caring for, and you know what I mean, what's the word? He's very good at like taking care of like a flock and making it grow and multiply. You know what I mean? So while Esau out, you know what I mean, running around chasing deer and chasing goats and stuff and all of that, and sweating and pissing and urinating on himself to try to get a kill. You know what I mean? You might do all of that. You might not. You might come home with nothing. You might do all of that, and you know what I mean. You might get one little kill, and then now you got to fight that kill. You got to fight a wolf for that kill. Yeah. You know what I mean? You doing all of this in the wood, running around. Jacob at home, he tended to the flock. Right. So where you had to go and hunt and do all of this extra nonsense to try to get this one little goat, and now tomorrow, what you got to do? You got to go back out into the woods and do the same thing. You know what I mean? Whereas Jacob, he at home, he turned two lamb, 2 sheep into 4. He turned 4 into 12. You know what I mean? He turned 12 into 144. And before you know it, he got a flock where he can like, okay, Salaki, I'm gonna use this set of flock for, you know what I mean, breeding and, you know what I mean, cultivating the flock. And I'm gonna use this one for wool. I'm gonna use this one for food. And he got it made. He at home. All he got to do is just go to the, you know what I mean, go to the yard, getting one of them lambs, and dinner, bon appetit. You know what I mean? Right. But you know what I mean, Esau, he got to do all of that. You know what I mean? That's his spirit. I mean, but that's just the difference between our spirits. Right. Salaki, go ahead, read on. Or somebody had their hand up. Okay, no sweat. Go ahead, read on.
Oh, come. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 28. Uh-huh. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison. Uh-huh. So he loved. So Isaac loved Esau, just like you know what I mean, just like a father would love his firstborn child. You know what I mean. And he loved the, you know what I mean, the fact that he went out and got that, you know what I mean, got that that venison and he brought it home. So Jacob, because Jacob was at home, he was preparing all of that. But go ahead, read on. Oh, come. But Rebecca loved Jacob. She remembered what the Most High told her. Right. She remembered the prophecy. She remembered what the Most High said was going to happen with these sons. So she loved Jacob because that's who the Most High loved, and that's who the Most High chose from the beginning. Go ahead, read on. Now we're about to get into it. Now we're about to answer the question. Did Esau, the title of the class is, did Jacob steal Esau's blessing? Well, we're about to find out. Go ahead. And Jacob sowed pottage.
Go ahead.
Okay. And Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
So Jacob at home, he cooking the pottage. He chilling. He dwelling in tents. You know what I mean? He chilling. Go ahead.
Okay, verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
With that same red pottage. You ever see a white man eat a steak? How they eat their steak? Well, it's gonna be. Oh yeah. I'm about to tell you. I'm about to break it down. Man, when they eat their steak, not only they'll eat it like to where it's like, you ever heard of blue steak, where basically you get a cast iron skillet real hot, and you burn the outside of the steak, right? I don't even know if they season it. Half the time when I be watching, because like you said, I like food. I'm a chef, so a lot of time, like in my timeline on my social media, I be seeing like people prepare food, and I be seeing them like when they cook their steaks, they don't even season it. They just get it real. They get a rock real hot, and then they put the steak on there. They burn the outside of it, flip it over, burn the other side of it, and then they cut into it, and it's red raw on the inside, like cold on the inside. That's what they call a blue steak. You know what I mean? They then they got they standard temperatures. You got rare, medium rare, medium, mid-well, well done. Rare and medium rare is like, I believe the internal temperature is like 110 and 120 degrees. That's cold. That is cold. That is not cooked. You know what I mean? That joint is pink red. Matter of fact, let me get a picture. Please. Go ahead.
If I could, I don't know if brother's seen this too, but they eat something called steak tartare.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically raw ground beef with a raw egg on top.
Ooh. Salaki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, steak
They-
tartare. It's like
They got let me share this real quick. Share screen. So these are the steak temperatures. So y'all can get a good old look. Rare is 120 degrees. You see that in the middle? It looked like you just got it right off the stove. Right off the stove, right off the shelf. They say they say it's they want it mooing. That's how they that's how they eat their food. Like the brother said, they got steak tartare. They got beef carpaccio, where it's just thinly sliced raw meat on a plate, cold. They got what else? You pretty much, you know what I mean? You look at all the things, and you look at all the like the types of food or the types of the styles of cooking that they consider like delicacy or like high fine dining. What'd you say? Oh no, well that too. But and I'm glad you said that. But like what they consider like fine dining or fine ways to cook things is raw. Like that's like the best way to have it. Like they eat everything raw. You know what I mean? So like the brother said, pork, like they consider, you know what I mean, pork is like you go into, especially like in cultures like Germany, Italy, Spain, pretty much any Edomite descent, any nation that descends from Edom, they like pork is like the staple of they food. And they even eat that raw. They say it's not recommended, but they still do it. You know what I mean? But that's just how they prefer to eat their food. You know what I mean? Please.
it's like the priest. You heard that some eat my liver king.
Yeah.
This cat. Oh yeah, he just a raw meat diet.
Yeah.
So he eating beef liver, kind of like just eating it raw with the blood, and that's what he does. So like.
And how could we forget about how can we forget about what's his name? Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I mean?
Man.
Eating people.
Dang.
You know what I mean? Like this is their nature. You know what I mean? Like this is what we see in the Bible. You know what I mean? Go ahead and read verse 30 again.
Gone. Verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
With that same red pottage. So he wanted it raw. You know what I mean? Jacob, you know what I mean? If y'all know anything about like preparing any food, you know what I mean? It takes some time. Like the best food. I know when y'all go to you slow cook it, you know what I mean? I know when y'all was when y'all was in the world, I know Thanksgiving coming up, y'all about to get them turkeys and them hams together. You know what I mean? I know y'all when we go to them cookouts and we go to them family gatherings and all of that, they say the functions start at 3:00. You mess around not get a plate until 3 a.m. So like the food don't be done until like 10:00. Because that's how, you know what I mean, that's the best way to prepare food. You know what I mean? That's how we prepare our food. We like to take our time with it. So, you know what I mean, Jacob preparing his food and Esau, he can't wait. He need it raw. You know what I mean? So he like Salaki. Go ahead, read on.
Gone. Verse 30. With that same red pottage.
So he want that pottage. He want that right now. That red bloody pottage. Go ahead.
For I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
Therefore it was his name called Edom. So Edom, I believe in the Hebrew is Adawam, which means red, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But go ahead, read on.
Come. Verse 31. And Jacob said.
And real quick, Jacob in the Hebrew is Ya'aquab. Ya'aquab, he supplants or supplanter, right? So Jacob was slick. You know what I mean? So he the second born. And this just show you the difference between the spirit of Jacob and Esau. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
So Esau hungry. You know what I mean? He out here, you know what I mean, running around in the field. He hungry. You know what I mean? The food Jacob cooking the food. It's gonna be ready when it's ready. You know what I mean? But he like, you know what I mean, Jake or Esau, he like, give me that pottage right now the way it is raw. You know what I mean? Red and bloody. And Jacob like, all right, I give you some of this. You sell me your birthright. You know what I mean? Jacob knew how to, because he valued, you know what I mean? He knew what the birthright meant. He knew what it meant to, you know what I mean, to inherit the, you know what I mean, what was your father's, the blessing from your father and your father's father and your forefathers. But Esau didn't value that. We're going to see just how much he valued that birthright. You know what I mean? So going back to the question, did Jacob steal that birthright? Did Jacob steal the blessing? No.
Right.
He proposed a deal. He said, sell me your birthright.
Right.
And guess what Esau said? Now, he didn't hold him by gunpoint. He didn't, you know what I mean, put him in the figure four. You know what I mean? He put him in no headlock and be like, give me your birthright. Go ahead.
Go. Verse 32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die.
I'm at the point to die. See, I told you earlier, Esau dramatic. Esau is super dramatic. They work you to the bone where you working from can't see to can't see. You working 80 hours a week and you better not be late or they writing you up and you at risk to lose your job and this, that, and the third. But let them work a little bit. Let them work, you know what I mean? Let them be just the slightest bit inconvenience anywhere. You know what I mean? They got a name for them if you didn't know.
Right.
They call them Karens.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got a male version of Karens. I think they call them Kyles.
Right.
But that name is for white people who are just slightly inconvenienced.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is how they react when they slightly inconvenienced. Go ahead. He said, I am at the point to die. I'm about to die. No sweat. Go ahead.
Verse 32. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
He said, so I'm about to die. If I don't get this pottage right now, I'm about to die. So what good is this? What good is the birthright if I'm going to fall out and die? You know what I mean? Go ahead. Read on.
Verse 33. And Jacob said, swear to me this day.
So he said, swear to me this day. He said, give me your birthright. Sell me your birthright. And what happened?
And he sware unto him.
And he did what?
He sware unto him.
No, he was tricked.
He sware unto him.
No, he held him at gunpoint or at knife point.
And he sware unto him.
Slingshot point, I guess. Read that again. He said he did what?
And he sware unto him.
Esau he sold that birthright. Now, what happens when you sell something? Go ahead.
No longer yours.
It is no longer yours. You pay you offer up whatever you selling. Look, I'm selling this piece of paper, and I say, and you say, I'll give you $1 for this piece of paper. If I give you this piece of paper and you give me $1, this no longer belongs to me. The dollar belongs to me. I have $1 now, and you got the piece of paper. That's how selling something works. I don't know if you know what I mean. I don't know if we know how selling things work, but that's how it works. You know what I mean? You sell something, you make a trade, you get this for that. And now the thing that you traded for, that's what you own. So instead of the birthright, now Esau got his pottage. That's what was his. That was his inheritance, that red pottage. And now the inheritance belongs to Jacob.
Right.
But don't forget, the Most High said from the beginning that the elder will serve the younger.
Right.
You know what I mean? That the birthright belonged to Jacob from the beginning, according to the Lord. Thus saith the Lord. All right, go ahead, read on.
Verse 33. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
And he what?
And he sold.
And he tricked.
And he sold.
No, he was bamboozled.
He sold.
He sold his birthright. Go ahead. And this shows how much Esau didn't value. He didn't value the birthright. He didn't value his inheritance. But Jacob did. Jacob valued it. He knew what it meant to inherit, you know what I mean, the blessing from his forefathers. You know what I mean?
His birthright unto Jacob. Verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
No. What was the question? Did Jacob steal Esau's birthright? What did that just say? That last line?
Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Esau despised his birthright. That's what the Bible says. I mean, we just read in the Bible. But Esau despised his birthright. Let me get this off the screen. Salakias. Boom. All right. But Esau despised his birthright. He sold that. Let's see. Salakias. Please go ahead.
A few months ago, at my old slave, when I was working at Amazon, I was packaging this order, and I came across this children's book. It was about Bible stories, and of course, they had the people in the Bible portrayed as white people. And I started flipping through the book out of curiosity, and I came across this story exactly.
Yeah.
And around this part where he sold his birthright, they had it labeled. They had it titled, "Jacob steals the birthright."
That's crazy. Wow.
So they're already putting it in children's heads that Jacob was a thief, and that the birthright did not rightfully belong to him.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Did I just out of curiosity, what did these have illustrations? The book that you was looking at?
I think so.
How they depict Jacob and Esau?
And both white men.
Both white people. Dang. So none of them was red and hairy like a garment, like the Bible say.
Nah, so they both look the same.
That's crazy. Please.
If I could, and that part right there just so spiritual. Thinking about it, like even with the oppressor now, what do they tell us? Y'all just so lazy. Y'all stealing money from the government with the food stamps and the WIC. Y'all just stealing, and like it's so like spiritual when you look at it. Like they hate us, but they sold the birthright. You know what I'm saying? So like, what are you talking about, man? When you see these people, man, and they just going on and to the brother's question, man, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can the Lord promise something and then tell you to go steal it? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
God, no, give him a hand. That's so heavy. Like, please go ahead, please. But it's heavy what he just said, because like about the food stamps and the what, like they say, they stealing from the government. Y'all stole the land. Right. Y'all stole it. You talking about we stole it from the government. Like the reason why this was established is because y'all stole everything from us. You know what I mean? And y'all promised us all these things. Y'all made all these treaties with the Native Americans and broke every single treaty. Y'all got them on the reservations. You know what I mean? The Statue of Liberty says, "Bring me your lame, bring me your weak, bring me your poor." You know what I mean? So the weak and the lame and the poor try to come from Mexico when California, Nevada, Oklahoma, Texas, all of that was Mexico. Right. You know what I mean? So they trying to go from the southern part of their land back to the northern part of their land, which already belonged to them. And y'all stole the land, and now y'all call them illegal immigrants. When you the illegal immigrant, that's the spirit of that's been the spirit of your oppressor from the beginning. Right. You know what I mean? Where they bring us over here for slave labor, and then they they squeeze every drop of slave labor out of us, and then they promise us 40 acres and a mule. And now here in 2024, they just turned down reparations in California. And now, you know what I mean, we try to we fighting for those reparations, that 40 acres and a mule that they promised us, and they calling us lazy for it. They calling us we need to stop. Y'all see that Fresh and Fit interview? You know what I mean? When them two heathens, they was talking. It was they was talking amongst themselves. It was just them two. You know what I mean? They usually had a panel, but it was just them two, and it was talking about reparations. And the damn heathen bastard, you know what I mean? He talking about black people need to just stop being lazy and stop asking for a handout. I don't know which one is which, but the other dude, the main dude,
the light skinned.
Yeah, the light skinned dude. Yeah, I thought he was Arab, but you know what I mean? He talking about, and they was just mocking the hell out of black people. Right. You know what I mean? That's how, like, this nation, this Slovakia, this nation of people, this hell that we live in, they put blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans through the ringer, and then they mock your suffering. Right. They mock and laugh. Like, I wish when y'all get some spare time, just look that up. When they Fresh and Fit reparations, you know what I mean? When they talking about that, and they just making a mockery of it. When the whole time we not asking for no handout. That reparation wasn't our deal. Wasn't our idea. 40 acres and a mule wasn't our idea. Right. Them 400, 500 treaties that they signed with the Native Americans, them wasn't our idea. Right. You know what I mean? Them, you know what I mean? ICE wasn't our idea. Border Patrol wasn't our idea. Right. You know know what I mean, all these different trying to get a visa. That wasn't our idea. These are things that they promised us. The thing that's written on the Statue of Liberty, bring us your poor, bring us your lame and your weak, bring them here. That wasn't our idea. They put that on that Statue of Liberty. So now we try to come and when we're weak, when we're poor, when we're refuse. You know what I mean? We try to come into this country and try to get a better life that they promised us. And now we're lazy for trying to make good on the thing that you said that you was going to give us.
Right.
Man, give us a break, man.
Right.
Give us a break, man. You the lazy one, man. You didn't do a damn thing to build this country.
Right.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans built this country. And you ain't do a damn thing. So like you about to say something?
Now, if I could, I'll bring a precept up right quick.
Please.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 19 and verse 5. Like, a false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape.
Oui.
You know what I'm saying? Just to bring that out, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? They promise all this stuff, and you might get thrown over, you know, the brothers here talking about reparations and all this other stuff. Vote for Kamala Harris. Hey, but you know, hey, listen, all them broken promises, you're not going to escape from the judgment that the Lord has for us. So like,
damn right. Give them a hit. And as a Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, just hearing that right there should be music to your ears. Because all these years, you haven't had justice. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Not from your chief oppressors, not from these other nations, not from the so-called African man who for years we called ourselves African. We call ourselves African Americans. Right. You know what I mean? For years we called ourselves after their nation, and we thought that those were our brothers. But they come over and they call us the same bywords that the chief oppressor, the so-called white man, call us. Those white men called us niggas. The so-called Africans call us niggas. You know what I mean? These other nations who we think that they can relate to us, where they come from these third world countries where they poverty, they got electricity consistently. You know what I mean? They in war-torn countries. They being oppressed over in their country, so they come over here. So we think that they can relate to us. But they come over here and they call us the same bywords and they oppress us the same way. Right. You know what I mean? It's to the point where now we in the hood and you're, you know what I mean? The same person, the brother that grew up in the hood with you in the same condition as you know what I mean? He might have had an opportunity. He might have been, you know what I mean? He might have been able to play some ball or something like that. Or he might have had some scholarships. And I don't know if y'all know, but not everybody can get a scholarship. Right. There's only so many scholarships that they have available. They're not just shelling out money out here. You know what I mean? So if you're applying for a scholarship, you're applying and competing against all the other candidates that have applied as well. So if you get a scholarship, don't hold your nose up to the sky, act like you better than the next man and lose your compassion for your brother. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole point. They want y'all to fight over these crumbs so that y'all end up destroying one another, so that they can draw their hands back and be like, hey, look, that they killing each other. They're selling drugs in their own community. They're, you know what I mean, taking their own life. They're taking they're getting what's it called? They're getting the reproductive health care. You know what I mean, having their children lives taken in the third trimester. They're doing this. That's what they want to do, black man. And you got to realize, man, the trick bag that they got going on for you, man. But it's to the point where, like, we've gotten no justice from all these nations, all the way from the top oppressor, the so-called white man, all the way down to now our people. We don't even have compassion enough to even care about getting justice for one another or for our people. You know what I mean? Right. Or it's like when we say, we say that, you know what I mean, the white man is the devil for all his crimes that he committed, and like the priest just brought out in the precept, that the Most High is going to punish them for the evil that they've done to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But black people can't even hear it. We don't even want to hear it. We want to try to fashion a Bible to say that God loves everybody, and somehow we got to love everybody. You know what I mean? But this Bible is about justice, man. And hearing that the Most High is going to give you justice for the crimes that all these other nations are committed against you, that should be music to your ears, man. Right. Let's get Genesis the 27th chapter real quick. And verse, yeah. We'll just go ahead and read it through.
Come. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here am I.
Go ahead.
Verse 2. And he said, behold now, I am old. I know not the day of my death. Verse 3. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison. Verse 4. And make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
So remember, Isaac loved Esau because, you know what I mean, he was able to go get that venison. But Rebecca loved Jacob. You know what I mean? So he called, Isaac is getting old, you know what I mean? He blind and, you know what I mean, he can't see very well. He called Esau. He sent him out to the field. He's like, hey, go get your weapons, get your quiver, your bow, and go, you know what I mean, get some venison, prepare for me, and then, you know what I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and give you your birthright. I'm gonna go ahead and, you know what I mean, I'm gonna give you this birthright, because like we said in our culture, you know what I mean, the eldest, you know what I mean, gets the birthright. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Verse 5.
Verse 5. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it.
So Rebekah heard it, and she clocked in. She clocked in because she remembered what the Lord told her. You know what I mean? Before she even had the children. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 7. Verse 6. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son.
So she went to Jacob, and she clocked in. Go ahead.
Saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, verse 7, bring me venison.
Drop that, verse 8.
Verse 8. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Verse 9. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth.
So she went to look, go to the flock, get the, you know what I mean, get two young goats, and she gonna prepare that for Isaac. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death.
So she said, you're gonna bring it to your father, and you're gonna get that birthright. Because the Most High already said that birthright belonged to Jacob. And then then Esau, we just read in chapter 26? We just read, or 25, that Esau sold his birthright and he despised the birthright. And here he is, like a slimy bastard that he is, still to this day, he trying to claim what he sold. You know what I mean? Like they did with the Native Americans. They signed a treaty, they signed a contract with the Native Americans, and then they broke the contract. They broke the treaty. You know what I mean? They promised so-called Slacky. But they promised Salakia. But they promised, you know what I mean? They promised so-called African Americans, so-called black people 40 acres and a mule. And now they call you lazy for trying to hold them to their word. You know what I mean? They made these treaties with the Native Americans, and they continued to push them further west in the Trail of Tears and slaughter them, slaughter their old, slaughter their young, put them in corrals and treat them like animals until they perish, and burning them down. You know what I mean? They put them in these corrals, these animal-like stables, and they burned them to the ground with the Native Americans still in it. You know what I mean? Even though they signed the contract. You know what I mean? That's exactly what you're seeing here with Jacob and Esau, where now he made a contract with Jacob and saying, hey, give me some of this pottage, and the birthright is yours. He sold the birthright and he despised the birthright. But now, you know what I mean? Now it's time to claim the birthright. And now he front in line. He going to do, you know what I mean? He going to try to claim the birthright that he sold. Just like a damn devil. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Sorry, verse 11. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Verse 12. My father peradventure will fail me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing.
So Jacob concerned, like, look, it seems like I'm deceiving my father. You know, I mean, this is where, you know, I mean, this is where brothers and sisters tend to think that, you know what I mean, Jacob stole something. But like the brother said, excellent point, where, you know what I mean, when you read these, when you go to the Christian church and hear them break down the Bible, or you read these children Bibles, you know what I mean, and hear them break down the story, they'll like to twist it. Like you said, like they depicted Jacob and Esau both as pale-skinned white men.
Right.
When the description is here, we just read the description of Jacob or of Esau. Esau was a red man and very hairy, but they're not going to depict him that way. You know what I mean? Just like, you know what I mean, the same, similarly to how they depict Christ as a white face, blue-eyed, stringy-haired devil, when that's not the description of Christ in the Bible. You know what I mean? So they try to twist things up without, you know what I mean, without giving context. We just read through the context. The birthright belonged to, you know what I mean, the Most High came to Rebekah while she was carrying the twins and said that the birthright belonged to Jacob. And then you read in verse, you read further down in that same chapter, and it talks about how Esau sold the birthright. You know what I mean? So what you see here is, you know what I mean, a mother making sure that their slimy son, you know what I mean, Esau, you know what I mean, this slimy bastard isn't able to get one over on Jacob.
Right.
That's what you're seeing right here. You're seeing a good mother taking care of her child. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch me them.
So he followed orders. She was like, look, just follow orders. I know you don't understand right now. No sweat. You think something wrong with this, you know, let the sin be on me. Let the curse be on me. But you just do what you told. You just do what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what he didn't realize is she was doing what the Lord said from the beginning. You know what I mean? Before they was even born. Let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 6 real quick while we on this topic. Chapter 6 and let's see.
54?
No, not yet. Lucky. Verse 7.
Oh, God. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 7. Then did I consider these things.
2nd Ezra, chapters. Where are you at?
Oh, sorry. 6 and 7.
Please, yeah.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, when shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth?
So that's what the parting asunder, the parting asunder of the times. The scriptures say there'll be a changing of the guard. You know what I mean? Where, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, your oppressor is going to fall, and as they fall, hell is going to rise to meet them. We're in hell. You know what I mean? So as they're falling into hell, as they're falling into a low state, we're rising into a high state. You know what I mean? So the prophet Ezra is asking, you know what I mean, when is this gonna be a happen? When is gonna be the marker of when it's gonna happen? What's gonna be the indicator, rather? Go ahead.
Oh, come, verse 8. And he said unto me,
it said, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? That's what we just described. All right, go ahead, read on Salakia.
Come, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, like we just read in Genesis, the 25th chapter. Came out second, and he was holding the heel of Esau. You was about to say something? You had to hand up? Okay, no sweat. Go ahead, read on. But remember, it said Jacob or the elder shall serve the younger. Go ahead.
Oh, come on, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world.
So Esau is the end of the world. Esau, you know what I mean, is running the world to this day. They, you know what I mean, have the representation in the United Nations. They run America. They run Spain. They run Portugal. They run Brazil, or not, it's like they run all the countries of the world. You know what I mean? Even in, you know what I mean, black, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American countries, they still run, you know what I mean? They still run those countries. That's why people in Central and Central and South America, they speak Spanish, because the Spaniards imposed their language and their culture on them. That's why we in North America speak English, because even though, you know what I mean, we black and we separated from all these other nations, we speak English because the English imposed their language and their culture on us. Same with, you know what I mean, you go to Jamaica. That's why you think that Kamala Harris is a black woman, because, you know what I mean, the Irish run, you know what I mean, the Jamaica, the Irish, and I believe it's another nation, the East Indians. Right. You know what I mean? They are the oppressors of those nations. You look at the Haitians, they speak Creole. The French oppress them and run those nations. You know what I mean? So Esau is running the world right now, and they are the beginning of the world, or Esau is the end of the world. If you see right now, your oppressor's kingdom is falling. You didn't have your hand up, did you? Salaki, Don't sweat. But Esau is the end of the world. Go ahead.
And Jacob is the beginning of it. They're following.
See, this is why it's so important. Good night. I'm gonna get to that comment in a second. But what was I gonna say? Read that again, Salaki. From verse 9.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it. They're following.
See, this is what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got to realize, especially in these times right now. For blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to get out of this hell, your oppressor's kingdom has to fall. Go ahead and read that again, Papa Kashan.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it. They're following.
For Jacob, who is the progenitor of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel, for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to rule, your oppressor's kingdom has to fall. Your oppressor's kingdom has to end. You know what I mean? So as long as we're trying to prop up their kingdom, we're trying to vote, we're trying to join their military, we're trying to join their police force, we're trying to, you know what I mean, integrate in their societies, we're trying to interracially marry, we're trying to all the things that black people participate in regarding your oppressor's culture. You know what I mean? All of those things are propping up their culture or propping up their kingdom. And as long as we're doing that, we can't rule, we can't prepare for, we can't allow their kingdom to fall. You know what I mean? Because we the foundation of this kingdom. We built, you know what I mean? We built the foundation of the kingdom. You know what I mean? We built the railroads. We built the we was working in those industries that those big industries that run the world, the Rockefellers and the Carnegie, Rockefeller, and it's one other one. It's like you. So it's the transportation industry, or the transportation industry, like the railroads and and then it's the oil industry, and then it's I can't remember. It's been a while since I've been to school. Salaki. But Rockefeller, Carnegie, and it's one other name, but they built the found. You know, we worked in those industries to build their empire up. You know what I mean? We built this country with slave labor. You know what I mean? Please go ahead. You almost jogged my memory. But you dang, that's whoever whoever runs the bank system. I believe that's the third name. Dang.
Did Wells Fargo fund the slave ships?
I'm not sure about that. I couldn't tell you. I don't doubt it, but hey, oh, please.
Is Rothschild?
Rothschild. That's who it is. That's what it is. Give him a hand. Wow. But you know what I mean? They we built up those societies. We built up those industries off of, you know what I mean? They were able to build up those industries off of our innovation, off of our intellect, off of the blessings and the gifts that the Most High gave to us. You know what I mean? So for us to continue to put those things, those gifts and those blessings that the Most High gave to us into our oppressor's kingdom, we're propping up their kingdom so that they can continue to rule and oppress us. And for with us doing that, we're never going to get out of this oppression. We're never going to be able to get from under the thumb of our oppressor. And thus they're going to keep ruling over us, and we're going to always be the tail, and they're always going to be the head, man. So that's what black people got to realize. We got to separate from our oppressor's kingdom so that we can get out of this hell. That's the only way. You're not going to be able to grovel and praise dance your way out of this. You're not going to be able to succumb your way out of this. You're not going to be able to, you know what I mean, beg your way out of this and march your way out of this. The only way to get out of this hell is to separate and do what the Lord told you to do.
Right.
Go ahead, read on.
Go. Verse 10. Sorry, you want me to finish verse 9?
I think you finished it, right? Verse 9? Or you can read it again if you need to. I feel like you need to.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Verse 10. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other questions? Ezra asked thou not.
It's like it. So verse 10, the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Meaning all other nations, their, I don't want to say fate, but their future depends on the struggle between blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and Esau. That's who these other nations depend, because we're at the very bottom. Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel, the Haitians, the Dominicans, the you know what I mean, the so-called black men, the Native Americans, the Jamaicans, all the Black, Hispanic, and Native American cultures are at the very bottom. And Esau is at the very top of society. Right. And there is a struggle between Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and Esau, the bottom of society and the top of society. Now, all these other nations in between, their future depends on that struggle and who prevails in that struggle. You know what I mean? That's why it says the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. You know what I mean? That's what you got to realize. That's why it's so important. That's why it's so important for us to understand that, you know what I mean, the Most High, you know what I mean, the Most High does not love everyone. We're about to find out too. And this, I don't know who this is, but I'm glad this is a very well-timed question as well. Go ahead, drop down to 54. This is a very well-timed question because, you know what I mean, Christianity has done a terrible number on the minds of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, where now we feel like even though your oppressor has beaten you, still to this day, they burned down your towns 400 years ago. They burning down your towns to this day. They lynched you 400 years ago. They lynching you today. They police force brutalized you 400 years ago, and they brutalize you today. Some random oppressor with a gun, you know what I mean, brutalized you 400 years ago, and they still doing it to this day. They shot up your schools 400 years ago. They doing it to this day. But for some reason, we still feel like, you know what I mean, us being, you know what I mean, we still feel like we got to integrate and merge together with our oppressor. And that's the way, you know what I mean? But that can't be further from the truth, man. The Most High, like we was talking about all night, was about separation. I don't know if you just got in class, Joseph Ford, but you should run this video back, man. You know what I mean? Get in class, because, you know what I mean, the Most High does not love everybody. And us believing that the Most High loves everybody, and it doesn't matter who you are or who you're, and it's like again, run this video back, because we talked about colorism. Colorism ain't got nothing to do with this because, again, we reject Obama, who got dark skin.
Right.
We reject, Kamala Harris, who got dark skin, because we know that it ain't about skin. It ain't about skin color. You know what I mean? It's about who your father is. And we know that Obama is a Kenyan. He was a descendant of the people who sold my people into captivity. Right. We know that Kamala Harris is an Irish woman who is a descendant of the people who bought my people and put them in captivity. You know what I mean? So it ain't about skin. It ain't about skin complexion. It ain't about colorism. You know what I mean? You should run it back. And God don't love everybody. Christ didn't come to die for everybody. Like you said, I mean, I'm not sent for the lost, but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He didn't come for nobody but the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know what I mean? Go ahead and read what you got, Salaki.
Come. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures.
So Joseph Ford said, we know Jesus Christ was black of African descent. He was not of African descent. Let me get Ham in Zonovan Bible Dictionary just to lay it flat real quick, just for the viewers online. I know Joseph Ford, he probably typed this in. Hey, Joseph Ford, if you in the chat, you know what I mean, go ahead, let me know. Say what's up or something. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure I'm willing to bet that Joseph Ford, you know what I mean, typed this in the chat and then bounced. You know what I mean? So this is for the audience who care about who they are as a culture and as a people. You got it, Bruce? Please.
This out of London Compact Bible Dictionary. Ham, the definition of Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 26 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood.
So this is important because Joseph Ford just said we know Jesus Christ was a black man of African descent. I'm saying that he was not a black man of African descent. Go ahead. We're about to see what the Bible Dictionary says regarding Africans. Go ahead.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
So dark races. So he was a dark-skinned man. He was black. He was dark-skinned. Right? Go ahead.
Not the Negro.
No, whoa. He was not, but Christ was a black man, right? He was a black man. So because he was black, because he was dark-skinned, he had to be of African descent. Read that again.
Not the Negro.
So you could be black, but not a Negro? You could be black, but not an African? Right. Black and African are not synonymous? These are things that Christians don't teach you. These are things that the Christian church will never teach you. It says not the Negroes, but who?
But Egyptians.
But Egyptians, Africa. This is talking about the African descent. Hamites are of African descent. The Egyptians, go ahead. Please.
So you telling me that the Egyptians not white people?
Ooh, good night. Cleopatra and all of that. you see in the movies they depicted as the pale face. Who played Cleopatra? I think it was like it ain't important, but they definitely had a devil. Right. But go ahead. Ethiopians, another Africa. We all, you know what I mean? You take that 23andMe, that ancestry, you're gonna be Ethiopian. You know what I mean? Let your person tell you you're gonna be Ethiopian. Yeah, you get that them test results back, you gonna get the putting the rings around your neck. You know what I mean? It's gonna be long for you. Go ahead.
Liberians.
Libyans. Those gonna be, or is it Liberians or Libyans? Libyans. That's another African, you know what I mean, African nation. So it's making what you're reading out of the Zonovan Bible Dictionary, and this is why, you know what I mean, when you're studying something, especially and this is why the being a priest, you know what I mean, of the Lord is the most disrespected profession, because you're not gonna go into medical school and then pick up the book and read all these medical terms and be like, I'm a heart surgeon. Come on, let me open you up real quick, and think that you know how to do heart surgery. You're not finna. What you're gonna do though? You're gonna open this book up, this heart surgery book, and you're gonna read all these medical terms. You're not gonna know what the hell this is, but you're gonna go and look up these terms. You're gonna respect that profession. But for some reason, with the Bible, you know what I mean, we think that we can open it up and just read it and then think that we got it. You need resources. You need to go into the Bible dictionary to understand what you're reading. You know what I mean? So that you don't say foolish things like you know what I mean, thinking that Christ was African. And I know that's just what the Christian church teaches. I'm not picking on you, Joseph Ford. I don't know who you are, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about the Christian church. That's what the Christian church teaches because they refuse to go into the resource. So we inherit those same lives. Go ahead. What you got?
So I also had a precept.
Please.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. So that was more proof that Christ was not African.
Yeah. Christ came out of the tribe of Judah. You know what I mean? Who is the so-called African Americans to this day.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it also says that you know what I mean, you go to Revelations and it says that he was a dark-skinned man. So you're not incorrect by saying that he was a dark-skinned man. You know what I mean? His father or his forefather, King Solomon, he said, I'm black and comely. You know what I mean? But we are not Africans. We always separated from the Africans. The son of who was it? I can't remember. Was King Solomon was the son of King David, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, from the beginning, you know what I mean? King Solomon's father, you know what I mean? His first encounter in warfare was against Hamites, the nation we just read about in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. So we've always, not only are we not Africans, but they've always been our adversary. They've always been our enemy. You know what I mean? But again, this is just something, you know what I mean? I understand why Joseph Ford is confused because the Christian church is full of lies and confusion. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? But that's why it's important for you to get in class. That's why it's important for you to, you know what I mean, get up out of that Christian church, man, and come back into our culture so that we can understand who we are as a people. So we don't have to now you think Christ is a black man of African descent. So now you feel like you got to love Africans when Africans sold you into slavery. What was the last African that came over with a canoe and a dart straw to save you?
Right.
Never. You know what I mean? When they come over, you expected them to treat you like brothers, and they calling you bywords like we talked about earlier. You know what I mean? These things are important. These little details are important. Where you think that your long lost brother that came over here and gonna try to help you out, you know what I mean? They treat you worse. You know what I mean? They treat you worse than ever.
Right.
And it's universal. What else? Okay. You said Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Okay, yeah, you breeze past that. But who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my sister? Okay, I know. Okay, those two scriptures have nothing to do with one another. You know what I mean? That don't mean, you know what I mean? That don't mean your oppressor can come and, you know what I mean, keep the Passover. And now all of a sudden you got to love your oppressor. You got to love the children of your oppressor. The scriptures say in Isaiah the 14th chapter, say prepare slaughter for their children. I mean, for the iniquity of their fathers. So it don't matter. You know what I mean? I know the favorite line of, you know what I mean, our oppressor is that, I never owned slaves. You know what I mean? I know that's the favorite line of, I know that's the favorite scapegoat, but it don't matter. You know what I mean? You're going to pay for the sins of your fathers.
Right.
Prepare slaughter for the iniquity of their fathers. You know what I mean? So they do not rise or fill the face with cities. You know what I mean? But where was we at? That second Ezra real quick, and we're going to wrap it up with that.
Oh, this is book of Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures.
So we'll read this and think like, oh, well, yeah, we all come from Adam, so that means we got to love one another. We just got to love and love and love and love. We just got to love everybody. And the problem isn't the nation of people. The problem isn't the nation of people that got the whole world oppressed. The problem isn't the, you know what I mean, the unaliving and the theft that happened to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The problem is just so much hate. Just hate in the world. You know what I mean? Hate ain't got no color. Hate ain't got no face. Oh, hate got a color in the face.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. He's the number one deceiver, man. And of Adam come we all. Go ahead, read on.
Come. Of him come we all.
Of him come we all. I want you to emphasize that and. Go ahead. Of him come we all. So we all come from Adam. Go ahead.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
So we all come from Adam, and the people whom thou hast chosen. Like we said in the beginning, the Most High made a choice. Of course, you know what I mean? The Most High made all, you know what I mean, all manner of, you know what I mean, men and nations. And, you know what I mean, of Adam come we all. But he made a choice. He chose a people. He chose a people to make his covenant with. He chose a people to give his law, statutes, and commandments with. You know what I mean? Go ahead, read on. And the people he has chosen. Go ahead. Let's see about these other people, though. So the people he has, people that he's chosen. And what else? Go ahead.
Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake.
Thou madest the world for everybody's sake.
For our sakes.
Nah, everybody the same. We all should rule together.
For our sakes.
There's no one people greater than another.
For our sakes.
You made the world for our sakes, the sakes of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 56. As for the other people.
As for the who?
The other people.
So this talking about, so we already know what's in store for us. He made the world for our sakes. And as for them other people, go ahead.
Which also come of Adam.
They also come from Adam. You know what I mean? So we're not taking that away from you, Joseph Ford, and anybody who believes that God loves everybody. Right. Go ahead.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are what?
They are nothing.
They are equal.
Thou hast said they are nothing.
Now we all should love one another because we all bleed red.
They are nothing.
They are nothing. Who is said?
And thou.
Thou has said, who's that thou? That's the Most High. The Most High said that, go ahead.
That they are nothing.
The Most High said that they are nothing.
That's right.
Go ahead.
But be like unto spittle.
But be like unto spittle. That is so disrespectful. That is the most, he said they are like spittle, like that little white foam that form up in the side of your mouth when you dehydrated and you just talking. That's these other nations. Right. That's what the Most High regards these other nations. Go ahead.
Oh God, and have likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
And is likened the abundance of them as a drop that follows from a vessel. I mean, you carrying a bucket of water, you're not gonna go back. You're not gonna you carrying a bucket of water across the street and you spill a drop or two. You're not gonna go back and try to fill that little drop up. And then try to make sure you know what I mean. Try to carry that bucket over without spilling the drop. You lose a drop up out of that bucket, forget it. Good riddance. You know what I mean. You gonna take care of what's in the bucket. You know what I mean. That's how these are the Most High regards these other nations as that drop that you're not gonna think twice about. Go ahead.
Verse 57. And now, O Lord, behold these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing.
This is how you know, like the brother's question earlier. This is how you know what I mean, a heathen from the sons of God. You know what I mean? These heathen, these other nations who the Most High has regarded as nothing. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Have begun to be lords over us.
Who's lords over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Who's lords over the earth? That's how you can tell a heathen over, you know what I mean, the sons of God. Because the sons of God are on the bottom. Right. You know what I mean? The heathens are lords over us. They own you. You want to know who a heathen is versus the sons of God? Look outside. It's like it. Look outside and look who's on the look who's in the welfare line. You know what I mean? Look who owns these buildings. You know what I mean? These grocery stores and these food stores and these restaurants and food stores. Restaurants and these hair stores and these corner stores. Look who owns these things and is selling to you. And look who's on the other side of the counter buying blunt wraps and buying Modelo's and buying you know what I mean, what they got to offer, buying the hair and the eyelashes off the shelf as a majority. That's how you know a heathen versus the sons of God. Right. Go ahead.
Come. And to devour us.
And to devour us. They are devouring us. Go ahead.
Verse 58. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn.
Wait. So read that again.
but we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn.
See, Jacob and Esau was the firstborn, but the Most High called Jacob firstborn. Go ahead.
Okay. Thy only begotten and fervent, thy only begotten and thy fervent lover are given into their hands.
So we given it to their hands. You read the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. It's going to read these curses that we suffer through. You know what I mean? We'll go into bondage again with ships. You know what I mean? And no man will redeem us like they redeemed the small hat during their Holocaust, like they redeemed the Irish. You know what I mean? Like they redeemed. You know what I mean? Like all these other nations that went through some hardships, they were redeemed. You know what I mean? No one redeemed us. Nobody even looks twice at us. Nobody even considers our condition. You know what I mean? Those curses fit Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. And these other nations seek to devour us and be over us and to destroy us. Is there any more than that?
Come.
Oh, go ahead.
Verse 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long?
Oh, go ahead.
How long shall this endure?
You know how long this is going to endure? You know why we don't possess an inheritance right now? Because we think that God loves everybody. We want to share our inheritance with everybody. You know what I mean? Even though the Christian church has lied to us and assaulted our children and, you know what I mean, assaulted our women and slept with our wives and made our men LGBTQ members and weakened us and took our fathers out of the household and empowered, you know what I mean, these women to be monsters over us. We still flood the Christian church. We still keep, even though we've left the Christian church physically, we've taken those Christian ideals with us, and we carry them with us to this day. Whether you Muslim, Catholic, Christian, Buddhist, Egyptologist, Kemet, or whether you just a individualite, a Christian Israelite group, like, you know what I mean, outside of the ISUPK, you know what I mean. You've left the Christian church, but you've taken these Christian ideas with you, and you carry them with you to this day. That's why we don't have an inheritance. And until we come back to our culture and we follow these law, statutes, and commandments, and we realize that the Most High doesn't love everybody, but He does love you. And let that be good enough for us and do what we got to do to get back in the good graces of the Most High, then we're always going to be in this low state. With that, let's say Imajim, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. The Visitor Ramadan Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yajim Matai, Sar. Turn to face the sisters, give a courtesy salute to the sisters. The Visitor Ramadan Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yajim Matai, dismiss.